In this video, we're going to be upgrading the old dashboard by replacing all of these bizarre switches that have been installed on this boat, as well as figuring out how to get the 35-year-old steering wheel off and replace it with something that's new. Stick around. Now, removing a steering wheel should be as simple as removing one nut and washer and then pulling it off. However, when it's been stuck to that metal for 35 years, it takes a special tool. You can rent a lot of pullers at your local auto store. On the 1992 that I did, the 7-pound puller did the trick very easily. However, I got this same tool to try to take off this steering wheel, and there wasn't enough gap between the actual steering wheel and the plastic of the housing to be able to get that in there. I tried a smaller one that definitely fit in behind there, but that one actually was just too small to actually get around the whole steering wheel and pull it off. So the next step was to go to a more complicated steering wheel removal puller that had a lot of options, and I thought this was going to work. It just did not. So what I ended up doing was combining the large puller itself with the small puller arms that fit between the steering wheel and that piece of plastic to make a giant little one. Now we got a giant baby one now. And since these are all on loan from O'Reilly's, so I want to make sure I don't lose any of these parts so I can get them back. Those are like some threads that you've never seen. Oh, it's so much better. This is kind of the scary part because when this thing pops, it pops. As easy as that. Now to put the new one on. Okay, so here's the hot mess that's on this boat. You can see that there are 3 of the original spring-loaded switches, and those switches do have the breaker built into them. These ones that he put on that are atrocious and don't work right. You can't even turn some of them on without pulling a different one. We got to get these off here. And behind the scenes, he has separate circuit breakers built in, so the wiring is very confusing. I was careful to just take everything apart and put it together correctly. We've got all our new switches here to replace the crazy stuff that this guy put on here. If you're wondering why this guy put all of these jerry-rigged switches in instead of just getting replacement switches, well, here's your answer. This is what they actually cost now. It's pretty ridiculous. I searched far and wide to find a comparable push-button switch that would work, and I've not been able to do it, so we just get raked over by NautiqueParts.com. You can see $25 to $35 per switch. And here is the breakdown of the switches that you need, depending on what you have. I looked this up, made all of these orders, and then was careful to match those up as I replaced everything. So I just got to figure out which one I have. 20 amp, 10 amp, 6 amp. That's the one right there. And I apologize. I don't think I could even explain everything that went into just cutting all of these wires and getting everything wired back up. If you're not really an electrical person, you could probably find somebody that is familiar with this, because we are just rewiring circuit breakers. I can tell you, I did make sure to just go one at a time, so that way I wouldn't have lots of loose wires to get confused by. It was a little confusing because there was a lot of additional wires due to the fact that there were separate circuit breakers that weren't built in like the ones that come with NautiqueParts.com. In the end, though, we were able to make it work, and somehow it turned out. I'm actually not very good at electrical work, but I did get this to come out. Spent a lot of time underneath there, as you can see. So we had a piece fall off our other boat, and this stuff's so expensive. My wife just sent a message to NautiqueParts.com, and the guy sent us a whole bunch of these, which is nice because we need them. This is a guess. A bomb diffuser. Do I cut the red one or the blue? We're not done yet. Glad that was so easy to get off. Nasty and old. Out with the old, going to the new. It's that easy. I just want to vent really quickly. I bought this switch 2 years ago for $5. Now it's $24. That's just the price it's gone up. Unbelievable. The single best thing about this particular 86 is this actual dash plate. It's in great condition as far as the Ski Nautique 2001 lettering and everything else on it. Usually that's all scratched off, with the exception of where the key ignition was dangling and scratched there. Everything else is in absolutely great shape, and this is a piece that you cannot find or replace, so I feel like got pretty lucky with this. If I'm being totally honest, I don't love this steering wheel. The one that I found for the 1992 Nautique that I restored, I thought was a great match, but I don't like the old feel of a 35-year-old faded rubber, so something good to have your hands on. This was the best thing I could find at the moment. This Nautique steering wheel sticker can be found for $5 on nautiqueparts.com. It ties it in really nicely. All right, here is the before picture, and now we have an upgraded dashboard. Hope you enjoyed watching that video. If you're still here, thank you so much. If you're not subscribed, make sure you do, because the next video we're going to be going up to South Bend, Indiana to get brand new upholstery put in this boat. You don't want to miss that.